spring from the night, joy shall come in the morning, joy shall come to you. Peace shall come in the morning, peace shall come in the morning soon. Peace shall come in the morning, peace shall come to you. Brothers all in charity, sisters all in unity, peace shall come in the morning, peace shall come to you. Hope shall come in the morning, hope shall come in the morning soon. Hope shall come in the morning, hope shall come to you. Take this pain from the night, open your heart with music flight. Hope shall come in the morning, hope shall come to you.
What a beautiful spring morning we are having. And if you'll look at your order of service, it says, sure. I decided that it would be a very benevolent thing if I would share with all of you the entire Gaelic dictionary. And you can take that home and treasure that forever. That's the entire, that's it. Everybody's smiling and the sun is shining and spring is really here. I got weeds and chateau debris bigger than that. I got lambs, the landlord brought the lambs by a couple days ago. You can't see them, the weeds are this high out in the lamb pasture. Isn't it great that it's we Irish who decided that March 17th would be a good day to celebrate, just be an Irish St. Patrick's Day. I think celebration is synonymous with the Ireland people, the Irish folks. There was a song once that I sang at Christmas time. We used to have Christmas shows here on Christmas Eve, and I did what did she call it? What's in the middle of an interlude? There was a young lady, her father started Oliver's. Her name was Eva Moss. And she said, let me produce and direct the Christmas Eve show. I said, yes. And it was all classical music. We had violins and it was beautiful. She said, Pat, you're going to do the interlude. I had never done an interlude before, nor have I done one since. But I had my guitar, and after hearing all this beautiful music, I got up and sang a song from the Irish Rovers. Could have been the whiskey, could have been the gin, might have been the 3 or 4 6-pack, but look at the mess I'm in. It's like a football. Think I'm going to die. Tell me, oh my, wasn't that a party? And it's got verses, but when I got all finished, one guy in the back says, by golly, now that's an interlude. And so, anyways. But it's just, happy St. Patty's Day to everyone. And let's just celebrate, because everything's just coming up sunshine today. And so it is. Sure.
Lots of green out there. The power of no. When Patrick called earlier in the week to ask me to do the mini message, we chatted for a few minutes and saying no came up, or rather not saying no. Now, there's lots of ways to say no. No thank you to an offered drink. I've been saying no to drinks for 43 years. Sometimes I explain, sometimes I don't. I say no to coffee. I say no to spinach. Some no's are more important than others. No, don't touch that. Hot, to a curious 18-month-old. Or no, don't kiss the strange doggy. There are some things, as Nancy Reagan said, we should just say no to. That second slice of chocolate cake. that fifth sharp tequila. There are some no's that are just habit and go without saying. Don't touch hot stuff without a hot pad. Don't cross the street without looking both ways. Don't hit children. Well, perhaps that one should be said aloud and often. Then there is the no that I have been struggling with for the past few days. That debate you have within yourself that no one else hears. I really want that cookie. No, that will knock you off the path you have chosen. One cookie won't hurt. No, it's never just one cookie. If you really wanted to walk this path, it would be easier. Now that's just silly. If I wanted to get to the top of the mountain, just because there are big holes and big rocks and deep holes in the path, doesn't mean I don't want to get to the top of the mountain. Just because you struggle between no and yes, doesn't make you a bad person, or lazy, or weak-willed. It just means you are actually human. If no slides into yes this time, then use what you learned on the slide and say no the next time. Saying no doesn't make you a negative person. Sometimes it can save your life.
Catherine, thank you very much. And it's a gorgeous day. I just don't know what else to say. It's just a gorgeous day. I'm glad you're all here. We are going to have, I think it's the 24th when we have the Monday evening healing circle again. Wednesday, ladies, spiritual book study group. Thursday, yes. I knew that. I was just seeing if they were paying attention. Will it be this Thursday, I think?
We're debating. I see that.
I think it's this Thursday. I think, I don't know. We'll just figure it out when we can. I think we're going to have potluck on Easter Sunday. Is that all right with everybody? That's the 31st. After church today, could we had a memorial yesterday, a celebration of life in the hall from some people down the street. And everything was fine, except the table arrangement is kind of mixed up. And if we could kind of move some tables around, we could work together, that would be cool, and kind of get them back kind of the way they ought to be. And other than that, anybody have any announcements? Oh, Pam Bourne's memorial will be on the 20th of April. And, oh, another thing I forgot. The 13th of April, we're having a work day outside, trim and cut and hack and maybe clean out gutters. We're just gonna, everybody show up and do something and do a little area beautification on the 13th of April. We can start that 9-ish, something like that, just whatever you want to come, show up. What's that? Cleanup day here on the 20th, or 13th. Pam Bourne's memorial on the 20th. Any other announcements? If not, then let's sing one of my favorite songs, Open My Eyes That I May See, number 72 in the Wings of Song.
Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth that has for me placed in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes and open me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth that sound is clear. And while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Suddenly now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, alone in me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the waters everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love that the children thus to share. Suddenly now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my heart and open me, Spirit divine.
Well, if you would stand up, like Simon says, stand up, we could greet each other in the traditional Church of the Oaks fashion. Don't you just hate
We didn't do this in Catholic Church when I was a kid.
No.
It was much more stoic.
How many taps of water on your forehead? I don't know. Coffee, no water.
When I was a little
It'll
kid,
be always.
I always wondered what the holy water, as people exited the church, and they took a taste of it one day. And I said, it was disgusting.
Oh.
And I spit it out.
Everybody's hands were better at some point in time. You don't know where them hands have been.
Yeah, what's the whole thing with holy water? You put your finger in it and then you did the sign of the cross.
Right.
I never understood that. It's a little tradition. I grew up Catholic.
Bless us, O Lord, and I give you to about the street.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
You don't get to read
Best hugger. Wow. Serious hugger.
Just touch your time, boy. I get paid by the hour. I don't take all day.
No, you don't.
I just want to share something with you when we talk about abundance and prosperity. January 8th, I woke up and I was hoarse. And I've been hoarse ever since. I've been trying to get a scope down my throat. And they called me yesterday. Thursday, I can go see the doctor. They aren't going to do the thing, but I can have a thing and a visit. And then the following week on the 29th, they're going to do this, I think. But after they called, I picked up my guitar and I sang Tooraloo. First time I've been able to sing in 2.5 months, and I am just so tickled. And waiting for the doctor has just been an exercise in patience, and I've learned a few more expletives over the months. But patience has ruled, and I'm just happy. I'm just tickled to death. So I share my joy with you. Maybe you can take some joy home with you today. We all know what abundance is. We all celebrate it. We all share it. Let's read our affirmation of abundance, may we? To realize an abundant life, one must practice giving, receiving, and gratitude. May we ponder those wonderful words of wisdom, sir. And in the theme of gratitude, I'd certainly like to thank Michael Patrick Peter O'Brien for being here. We really enjoy your music, sir. Let's sing together. Yes, absolutely. See, that's more of our abundance. It's just everywhere you look. Let's prepare ourselves for our meditation this morning and sing Be Still and Know That I Am God, number 69 in Wings.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God.
For this meditation, I suggest you close your eyes. Imagine a place where the chatter of your mind is not welcome, where you can feel quiet, feel tranquil. Perhaps it's a spot in the woods, or floating in calm water, or simply relaxing in your favorite chair. Whatever place you imagine, feel the comfort and the quiet. As you settle in, take slow, deep breaths. On the inhale, envision tiny white lights filling every cell of your body, restoring you with the gentle energy of loving. On the exhale, send out that light, that energy, to all the life on earth and earth itself. So the inhale, the light for yourself, filling your whole body, every cell. Exhale, all for all of life on earth and earth itself. So let's begin with slow, deep breaths. As we begin to end this meditation, feel the light, the energy of love surrounding you and protecting you. And so it is.
Thank you, Kelly. And may we all wish Kelly a wonderful trip. She's going back to Minnesota, the land of big cheese and big snow. She's going back to see family.
And we have another traveler here.
I'm gonna go on a retreat in Death Valley. I would welcome prayers because I am going with, leading a group, but to be completely self-sustaining, including food, tent, everything, for a week until the day before Easter. So it's a little adventure. Thank you.
Well, may all of your expectations become reality and joy and completeness. All of it. My name is Patrick Michael McCarty. That's probably about as Irish as one would ever want to be. And I have been told and observed that the Irish seem to be famous for telling stories. And I think we all have a touch of Irish in us. But I think on your order of service, about halfway down in the quotes, it says, "Those who tell the stories rule the world." It's a Hopi American Indian proverb. Well, actually 2,400 years ago, Plato wrote down the same thing. Those who tell stories rule society. And isn't that the true of it? Great leaders, they don't just stand up and rattle off a bunch of facts or edicts. They tell stories. Martin Luther King and his Have a Dream story. May one day the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners sit down together at the table of brotherhood. You can see that. You can feel. You can see that story. You can taste it. How many are in here are really up and fully understand quantum physics? I think Michael Hishak is probably the only one that comes close. But yet, when you sit down and listen to someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson tell stories about quantum physics, it makes sense. And you walk away knowing something you didn't know, with a greater understanding of these confusing things called quantum physics. And I think, isn't it true that we use stories in our own lives to people? I remember I was married when I was 19, and my first wife had 3 sons. And I had just gotten out of the service, and they were bickering, sitting at the table, and at that time they must have been about 6, 7, and 9. And they were complaining about what was on the supper table. And I said, "You guys don't know. When I was in Vietnam, we flew into this little fire base to deliver something, I don't know. We had to wait for an hour or 2 before we could leave. And it was pouring down rain, just raining like crazy. They invited us to come over and have some lunch. The cook tent was open. And after you finished your meal in this little encampment, at the mess hall, at the mess tent, everybody threw their silverware in this big box when they were done, in a big pan. but your mess kit was it all snapped together, it just hung on each other, and you went over and you knocked all the food off into this 55-gallon drum that was just where the garbage went, and then they had a 55-gallon drum with a little fire, and it was boiling, had soapy water, and there was a big old brush on the side. You could do that, and then a rinse tank, 55-gallon drum that was boiling water, and I'm sure it had some other kind of disinfectant. Went like that, and went over and hung it on this rack where you put the mess kits. And there were little local kids. And I saw two little boys, could have been a girl, I don't know, just two little kids, this big, walk up to this garbage can. And one of them held their t-shirt out like this, and the other one went through with all the slop and water and let all the water drain out and put it into the other's t-shirts. And that's what fed their family. And that was true everywhere I was in Vietnam. So I don't care if you like what's on your plate, you don't have to eat it. And maybe sometime you'll get hungry enough, like those people were, to sip the garbage out of the rain barrel. Those kids never, they understood that. They got that story. And my boys grew up, I adopted those three boys, by the way. And as they got a little older, we were Kansas farm folks. And out there, you hunted for a lot of your groceries. And there were rattlesnakes and coyotes that were run off with the chickens and the stuff. And once in a while, mountain lion. So everybody was taught to shoot the shotgun. And I got the boys in some shotgun shell when we were out. And, hey, Dad, did you ever kill any of them Vietnamese? And I said, no, which wasn't exactly true. And I said, but what I did, my first flight when I got into Vietnam, brand new loadmaster, just fresh out of tech school. And my first assignment, my first sortie from Phnom Penh, we went over to Da Nang, and I picked up 20,000 pounds of filled body bags. My first flight in Vietnam. That is something that I wish no one to experience on one hand, but on the other hand, I wish everyone could experience that. The gravity of that. And that happened every week. Every week, somebody went to Da Nang, got us a processing center, and then took them to Phnom Penh, and then they came back to Clark, and then back into Travis. And those stories have far more impact than stating a bunch of facts. But I'm going to talk today, I hope, mostly about the most important stories that there are. And that's the story you tell yourself about you. Your personal autobiography. That one you tell yourself. Because folks, you believe it. Whatever it is you choose, however you choose to describe your life experience up to this point, that's what and you tell yourself that every time you look in the mirror, you sit and you think about it. Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I keep doing that same thing. You believe it. And so many people that I've talked to recently are having a great trouble dealing with what the effect of their personal autobiographies are having on themselves. Over and over, I'm so depressed. And they tell themselves they're so depressed all the time. I'm such a screw up. I mess up everything I do. And they believe it. And we all understand that a a story affects ourselves and others. As I told those stories about Vietnam, every one of you envisioned that in your own way. You all tasted it, felt it, saw it. You all felt the gravity of a 42-foot cargo compartment full of body bags. You all got that. But when you tell yourself you're so dumb, you're such a mess up, screw up person, you believe that, you taste it, you feel it, and that is how your history continues. And the great part about this is that we all can edit that story we tell ourselves. If you stand up here in front of people and are asked to tell a story about your garden, you're not going to say, well, I sprayed the wrong stuff and it all died. No, it's I worked and I shoveled and I sweat and I felt so good and I pulled the weeds and I planted the seeds and I watered them and I put a little miracle grow up. Oh, it's gorgeous and I'm so happy. And everybody gets that happiness. Everybody feels that sweat and that work and they identify with it. And the moral of the story is joy and success. And you feel good about yourself. And if we start editing our own stories to ourselves, we will feel better. I promise you. I will actually put it in writing if you want. Give you a money-back guarantee. Why don't you tell yourself, why don't we tell ourselves that maybe we haven't gotten it quite right a few times, but we keep trying. And every time we try a little better, and it gets a little better. And every time we go through some hard things, we learn some stuff by it. Maybe it doesn't always turn out the way we had hoped, but it always turns out. And we can grow and learn and be better for it. I saw something, I don't remember exactly even where I saw it, but I heard someone saying about that there was this homeless person, every day on their way to school or something, this homeless person was asleep in some doorway. And every day this person would bring that homeless person, a piece of toast or a little sandwich or candy bar. They said they never felt that that person was worthless or a maggot or just they always looked at that person as a tougher than tough survivor. Survived probably the most terrible stuff and was still alive, still breathing, still saying thank you for the candy bar and smiling. It's the kind of Wayne Dyer thing. If you change the way you look at stuff, the stuff you look at changes. I could tell you 100 stories that will allow you to feel joy. And I can tell you another 100 stories that will make you want to throw up. Stories are so powerful, especially the ones we tell ourselves. And all of us have been through stuff. Every single one of us. We've all been on the verge of giving up. But maybe it's by the grace of God, or maybe it's from a story that we heard that gave us a little bit of sunshine, a little light to take a next step forward. But I hope that all of us can practice. Go home and look in the mirror in the back, like you're going to be practicing for a play, a part in a play, because that's where we are. Shakespeare said so. And he wouldn't lie to us. And look at that and practice, rehearse, look at yourself in the eye. Say, you are an amazing human being. You have survived. You have endured. You've gone through 17 bushels of crap. and you're still here. And we're going to edit our story from now on. That story's going to include good, uplifting, hopeful things. And we're not going to reinforce the fact that we're depressed or feeling bad or sad. No, I choose to be happy today. The sun is shining. Even if it was pouring down rain. I want to tell the story that my inside is going to listen to, that I'm going to be happy today. That I'm going to smile at people today instead of saying I'm so depressed, I feel like junk. Just leave me alone. Your story had effect on 6 people just now. My story has effect on 30 people every Sunday. I hope it's for the gooder instead of the badder. All of us, please practice editing your own story. You can put whatever you want into it. You're the author. Put some good stuff in there. Give yourself some credit. Give yourself some kudos. And remind yourself, yes, you can do it. You've done bigger things in the past. You can do what you need to do next week and the week after. You can think nice things about folks instead of not nice things. Our own stories. We love a story. And I hope each one of us can get to the point where we love our own story too. My story, my life, ooh, some of it I can't even tell because it's pretty not good. But as I look back across the whole, my life is made up of some fantastic stories. I have definitely taken the scenic route, for sure. And some of the scenic was not so pretty. It was pretty ugly and nasty and bad. But I put it all together. What a wonderful story I can lament. What a wonderful story I can pass on to my kids. Good stuff and the tough stuff, because I learned from it. And I hope that all of us can edit our stories. We can. Wonderful place to edit stories would be down in Death Valley. Eating dead rattlesnake or something, whatever you find. Gila monsters, whatever. So many, we have so many opportunities as we live our lives. Every day we have an opportunity to do something that's maybe not ordinary, maybe something that's kind of a little bit cool. We can say hi to somebody that most people wouldn't want to say hi to. Maybe the homeless folks, they don't smell so good and they look a little dirty, but they're just people like you are. And the bottom line is they are survivors. We don't know what kind of stuff they've been through. Some folks been through a hell that you and I couldn't even imagine. And they're still out there breathing. They're still out there talking to each other. It's our life. It's our story. We can tell it however we choose. We can tell ourselves a story that makes us sad and depressed and hateful and regretful. Or we can tell ourselves a story that we have been on an amazing journey. Ups and downs and lefts and rights. Bangs and bumps and hugs and kisses. Most lives have it all. And if we can have a little gratitude for all the experiences that we've had that have gotten us this far in life. We all got scars and bruises, and that's good. It's taught us how to be tough. We all know what pain and grief is, and we all know what joy and love is. So edit your story. If you're feeling kind of crummy, edit your story. You can. Tell yourself you're going through a rough spot, but it's going to get better. And you know it's going to get better because it's been better before, and it's going to be better tomorrow. Because you aren't the only one that hears your story. Because I noticed one time I got to facilitate discussion group. And I did it a few times. And I noticed that no matter what the discussion was, virtually everybody there at some point worked that into, segued that, that's the word I was looking for, into their story. And they told their story. We all want to tell our story. It's our story. And we aren't the only ones that hear our story. Other people do too. And what will people think when they hear our story? Does it make them smile? Does it make them sad? Do they say to themselves, oh my God, here comes old gloom and doom again. I have to listen to that. Or, wow, what a cool person. What an uplifting person. There are a few people sitting in here, and I won't name names. I could, but I won't name names. There are 3 people sitting in here today that I don't care what's going on in life. They smile, and their response is always positive and happy. And what a pleasure to be around people like that the stories they tell can have really terrible things in it, but they're still smiling, they're still uplifting, they're positive. It's a pleasure to be around people like that. Because I hear their story, I feel their story, I smell it, I taste it. Would you all close your eyes for a moment? I want you to imagine that you're over at Safeway and you're in the produce department. And there's a feature this week, right in the center of the produce department, is this huge pyramid of fresh lemons. And down in the front of this pyramid of fresh lemons, there are hundreds of slices of those fresh lemons. And it says, help yourself. And pick up a slice of that lemon and put it up and smell it. Do you smell that fresh lemon smell? Now bite into that little slice. Ooh, ooh. You should see your faces now. You all got lemon face. Stories work like that. I remember, Kelly, you might remember, Bonnie, you might remember. I was trying to be humorous one Sunday. And I said, yeah, things has been pretty bad here lately. I said, I got a letter last week from PG&E and they told me the end of the month, they're shutting off the light at the end of the tunnel. I read that in Reader's Digest. I thought it was levity at its best. It didn't have any naughty stuff to it at all. It was great. That afternoon, after church, in the hall, 3 different people offered to pay my PG&E bill for me. That's the power of stories. One who tells stories for a living like me, you have to be careful of what you say because people hear what you say. But if anybody wants to help with my PG&E bill, I'll certainly accept it. Now, I was a little too proud then. dear friends, we are such a wonderful family. And when we hear each other telling a crummy story, we should ask each other, can't you do better than that? That's a pretty glum story. I'll bet you can make it a little more sexy, a little more happy if you want to. You can. Just remind each other. Every single one of us is a lot alike, a little bit alike, and not at all like each other. We're all of those things. And that makes each one of us pretty incredible. And we've got so much to share. And so much of what we share is our story. Something to ponder, I think, huh? Well, I think, how do I segue into this? I think it's a wonderful world out there. Let's stand up and sing a little bit. What a wonderful world it is. Number 40 in the song.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do? They only saying I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
What's left in there to do? How about you?
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Well,